Hello, hello! Welcome to another Planet Zoo video. We're going to pick up where we left off last week, and we're going to rebuild that African leopard habitat. We built the African leopard habitat at the beginning of the game, at the beginning of the zoo file that we started, because we just needed a habitat animal in there to start getting us some cash, some visitors. And then when we wanted to try and build that hippopotamus habitat, hold on, trying to get the game started. When we built the hippopotamus habitat, we had to move the leopard habitat to make space. So let's boot up this game, and we're gonna press this button. We're going to rebuild the African leopard habitat. We're going to rebuild it hopefully better, and we're going to rebuild it with some more realistic, real-life feels to it. The last one was literally just a box, so this one will be better. And we'll make it hopefully really pretty too. Unfortunately, my computer is kind of old, and so this little animation here when it's loading in is very choppy and laggy when I'm trying to boot up a file. I wish it was smooth because I really enjoy watching them. But there it goes. Smooths out a little bit as it finishes loading in, or as it loads in a little more. I'll get little snippets of it being nice and smooth, and then it's just real choppy the rest of the time. Anyway, but I'm hoping, because we're building that exhibit like right along the fence again, I'm worried we're going to run into the same issues I ran into with my other exhibit that I built the same way. Alright, welcome. Here's what we've got so far. Just getting started for today. We have our hippopotamus exhibit that we built last session. We have a moose exhibit here, which is kind of the historical, like we just needed to get exhibits in. So this is kind of like leftover from that. And then the first exhibits that we built, once the zoo was actually making money and we were able to make things a little prettier. We have some tortoises over here, and that's a walk-through habitat. And we have the caracals right here. And then I just got texted like a whole bunch of times. Oh, no, it's nothing. It's nothing. Oh, shoot, I'm getting a phone call. Hold on, this is important. I'm gonna pause the recording. We're gonna have the habitat go from right here. I think I saved a whole bunch of stuff last night from the workshop. Let's see, we're gonna look for a fence. We're gonna look for blueprints. This is the one that we used for the caracals. Mesh fence set. Let's take a look at this over here where we can maybe see it a little better. That's very nice. Very, very nice. Let's look at this one. Mesh fences with angles and descriptions. Let's give this one a try today. Have you ever tried horror games? No, I have not tried horror games. When I was young and I was playing Minecraft, when I was playing Minecraft, I would get scared literally when all of a sudden there was like a skeleton shooting at me or something. I did not enjoy being scared. So I do not enjoy horror games, and I don't really watch people stream them either, but play with friends, lots of fun. Okay, that's a good... I think that that would really be the only reason that I would play them, is if I was going to play with some friends. I am in my mid to late 20s. I'm neither young nor old. Existing. Okay, hold on. Any plans on Halloween? I don't have any Halloween plans currently. I live in a neighborhood with lots and lots of kids, lots and lots of houses. But last year I didn't really see any of the kids in our area. I feel like they maybe went and trick-or-treated other places, in other neighborhoods maybe. I saw a lot more kids here when I moved here a year ago. I think there's less kids now. There's a lot more houses for sale in our neighborhood right now. Hello, Spicebuck, welcome. Thanks for coming to the stream. Oh, I didn't want to do that. I can hear the hippos just yelling. You do those stuff on a commission. Cool. I will keep that in mind. I haven't really looked into that kind of a thing. You have plans on Halloween, Hazel? What are you going to do for Halloween? What are you guys going to be for Halloween? I really need some chapstick. Chapstick's all the way on the other end of the house. I think I'm going to have this fence go all the way to the curve here, and then right at the curve where it starts to get wider between the out of bounds and the path, that is where I will build the holding. What is your Halloween costume, though, Hazel? Like, what are you gonna be? Spooky. You play spooky games. Nice. Okay, and then right here, I'm not gonna let it curve anymore. I think I'm just gonna go straight out. I think I'd like to add some rocks or something there so that it's not... I mean, continuous viewing is fine, but I'd like to have some rocks or something right here. Begone, bot! True. Ooh, wow, look at that rock pack. I'm gonna place that over here so that we can borrow from it. Oh, they're all shelters. Not quite what I was looking for. But maybe I don't know. I'm gonna get rid of it. We'll come back to it if we need to. Let's look for, or we could just filter for rocks and then filter for blueprints. I'm not looking for anything specifically Australian or specifically African. I just literally want like a pile of rocks. I might have to make my own pile of rocks. Oh well, we'll do that later. Later. For now, I think we'll make a rock wall that can go along the back. I see the game for the first time. Can you explain this game? Is that fence from the workshop? Yes, this fence is from the workshop. I went and found it last night. I check the workshop pretty much every time I boot up the game. I just like download it. Hazel, this game is basically Zoo Tycoon, but it's more updated. So this was made in 2019, and they release updates on a pretty regular basis, as opposed to Zoo Tycoon, which I mean, that's from the early 2000s, but I grew up playing that, so I really enjoy it. So I started playing this as soon as it came out. I really enjoy it a lot. But you essentially are just building a zoo. And that's about it. You just want to make as much money as you can. You want to breed the best animals you can. You want to have, yes, there's a lot more creative freedom. You want to have basically as much education for guests as you can. And I think I would like to have as many rocks as I can. I'm going to build basically a rock wall here. And I'm just going to duplicate it a bunch of times and build that, what's going to become our barrier. It is an interesting game. Yeah, there's a lot of freedom in it. You can kind of just do whatever you want. There's some people who will do like, comedy. They'll do some comedic things and just kind of throw things all over the place, and they can have animals escape on purpose and stuff like that. I work at a zoo for real in real life, and so I kind of want to try and make a zoo that's as realistic as I can. So making this habitat as realistic as I can, making the holding spaces and their bedrooms as realistic as I can. Because that's fun for me. That's how I play this game. Make it true to life. Okay. Hopefully this is not a climbable rock wall. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select it. I'm going to save it as a blueprint, and we're just going to call it rock wall. Oops. Rock wall desert, because it's desert rocks. And the description is required. Well, it is a rock wall. At least one tag. Okay. It is scenery, but it won't let me choose that, so let's just do nature. Okay. Good. Which animal do I like the most? Hard to say. I have several favorite animals. Moose is one of them, and we do have moose in our little online zoo here. And moose are super rare in zoos. There's not many zoos that have them. I also really love Malayan tapirs. Not to be bested, but the woolly tapir is probably cooler than the Malayan tapir. I'm not gonna lie. Google it once in a while. Those guys are cool. You like pandas. That's cool. Pandas are pretty cool. Pandas are even rarer in the US zoos. I mean, I think if we have them in the US, only one zoo has them. And it's either Tennessee or it's the National Zoo. I don't know which. But recently all of our pandas got sent back. Got reclaimed back to China, which is sad for those people who really enjoy seeing the pandas, but A-okay with me. Alright. Let's see here. It's quite a large exhibit, probably bigger than it needs to be, and I'm really, like, the repetition is kind of for me. I think the best way to break up that repetition of like the same rocks over and over again would be to now go in with a couple rocks and just kind of like mess around and just kind of put a few rocks here, put a few rocks there, while being like careful not to make it too climbable. I think that'll be our biggest issue, our biggest downfall. Detroit Zoo is the best zoo in your state. That's awesome. I've never been to that zoo. It's kind of going to that area and seeing some zoos is on my list. We don't get out much, but when we do get out, we like to go and see zoos. Get to check out San Diego Zoo. I have been to the San Diego Zoo one time, and it was really, really cool. I'd really love to see some zoos in Europe, where zoos are a lot older. I think the London Zoo would be really cool. I need to get out and see the Philadelphia Zoo. I think the Philadelphia Zoo is the oldest zoo in the United States, so it has a lot of history. Or a lot of, I'd really like to see the old buildings and see how they refurbish them. Position snap. I don't want you to position snap. Just be, tree. Ooh, Okapi are really cool zoos. Animals. I got to pet an Okapi one time when I was a zookeeper. They're really oily. When you pet them, your hands come away like black and greasy because their oils like collect a lot of dirt and dust and things. And it protects their skin. Like their oils are super cool. Their tongues are crazy. They have crazy long tongues. Just gonna kind of put these trees along that back fence line and kind of break up the sight lines. And it hides the fact that we took that rock wall and we just duplicated it 30 times. Oh, we've had some fun things happen when I haven't been paying attention. Come here, let me see. Okay, bye. Oh! We have a black cub. Or kitten. Oh, so cute. Thank you. That's what you would do in real life if you were building an exhibit and you wanted the back wall to look natural. Because like right here, if you're standing where the guest is standing and you're looking through, you just see mesh on the other side. So it looks like the exhibit, you can tell that the animal is in a cage. Whereas if you go over here and you stand where the guest stands and you look, you can see that it ends, but it doesn't end with like a man-made structure. It ends with nature. So it gives the illusion that this animal is more in nature. And the fact that the exhibit is very long, even though the square footage of it might not be that big, the fact that it's very long is good for the animal because they could walk in a straight line for a while before they have to turn and go somewhere else, which is good for them if they're getting like exercise and stuff like that, like having enough space to walk distance, not just space like square footage. You want to be able to like get that kind of movement, especially if you had something like, say, a cheetah. A cheetah needs a decent runway to get up to speed. So giving them long exhibits as opposed to just like a big box or a big circle, you might want to give them something more long. All right. We have baby moose. Big boy moose. I think that's most of the things that have happened while we've been busy. Let's see. Nice. Okay, we'll sell this one. We'll keep the gold ones as backups. Oh, we only need to keep one. We'll sell one, we'll keep one. My exhibits are just boxes. That's okay. That's okay. That's how I started. On my YouTube channel, I went and did like a little tour of all the zoos that I've done before this one, and kind of like showed my progression of just trying to get the game mechanics under control and just trying to learn how the animals live, and then building a zoo, but all my exhibits were just trash. Stuff like that. So if you go and watch it, I will say my audio really sucks. I did not know how to get my recording software, just right. I was really having issues with volume. So like my voice is super, super quiet and the music is really loud, or the other way around. And so I just hadn't really perfected it at that point. So please don't judge me. This is our hippo habitat. I built it so that guests could come over here and be right up next to the water and view them from the water. And then over here, they can view them on land as well. And then a tip that I like to share is always put some feeders and some enrichment really close to where guests want to view, because the closer, like the better view that a guest can get of the animal, the better experience they have. So even though the hippos have all this space and they can use as much of the space as they want, and there's plenty of enrichment and food all over the place, there are still a couple items over here to kind of draw them over so that people can see. I have had some issues with it, but I think more of a problem, like the way to fix the problem, I think, is to just have better staffing, to get more staff in, and then also to assign staff to that location. Okay, hold on a second. I'm getting a phone call. Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that. My auntie is coming to pick me up. She and the cousins and I are going to a bachelorette party, so I just when she calls, I'm like, "Are you here? Do I have to end my stream?" And she's like, "No, we stopped at Chipotle, so you've got like 30 minutes before we're there." And I'm like, "Cool." So anyway, um, yes. So the food dishes, I would just make sure you have enough staff that your staff aren't totally exhausted all the time. And make sure that they have enough time to actually get to each exhibit. Because if they are getting there but they don't have time to actually prepare the food, then the computer just the way they're programmed, they just keep running around in circles. And as somebody who has been an overworked zookeeper before, yes, you do just start running around in circles. And you do need more staff. That's like the biggest thing in the zoo world right now is when people are like, sending out, employers are sending out surveys of like, what can we do to help? And the biggest one is always more staff. We need more staff. So yeah. Thanks for following, Spicebuck. 2 keepers per exhibit. Oh my god. Well, I'm sorry. I don't know what to tell you. Oh, I. Sorry. Yeah, that's rough. Maybe if you just added like a bunch of them, like I try to have more than the animals need, and then hopefully there's just always plenty of food in there. I also will go into the animals tab here into food, and I'll make sure that everybody is getting quality 3 food, because quality 3 will keep the animals full for longer. So then they won't get hungry as much. Yes, I think your game is cursed. I think that is the problem. I would agree. All right. Now I can build a cat holding from scratch, but I don't really want to. Animal display house. So I think maybe we'll just like hippity hop through some of these blueprints. This seems like an elephant house. And see if there's anything in here that I might want to steal. That's a restaurant. We don't want a restaurant. Maybe if we went with shelter. So we've got a nice barn. Honestly, barns are not that bad of an idea. Because when we have like a tiger barn, we literally call it the tiger barn. The tiger barn, the leopard barn, the bear barn, bear holding, whatever. The barn wouldn't necessarily be literally a hoof stock barn, but we still call it a barn. This is a shelter that I built when I didn't build this. I stole it from one of the Planet Zoo tutorial levels. Okay, this is another hoof stock barn. Looks like it has some keeper areas, and it does have a few stalls, but it is mostly very open. Yeah, I literally named that blueprint Stolen Shelter. No, that's very small. If we went to facilities, or maybe habitat. Habitat and looked for shelter. And let's just have those arranged by price because that's helpful. Usually the more intricate blueprints are more expensive, so arranging by price helps a lot. So this is advertised as realistic rhino shelter. And I think that would probably not be... So yeah, that's pretty realistic. The only thing that I see is that you can't shift a rhino from one side of the aisle to the other. There's no fencing to do that. So if you had a rhino in one place, you wouldn't be able to get it to the other side. But other than that, very nice barn. Very nice barn. I know I had some concrete shelters that I saved in here somewhere. I saved them literally last night. I can't spell. It is not a skill I possess. Base game, hard shelter. How hard is it? Hard shelter for who? It's just kind of empty in here. An herbivore, it seems. It's a barn. This barn, I've used this barn a couple times. I think she is so cute. It's elephant and giraffe sized on one side. And then over here it's little for smaller animals or for babies. And then you got a big ass door on this side for when you want to back up a truck and unload a new giraffe or elephant. And then it's got a little keeper area attached. And that's perfect. Like that is... I like that barn. That's a nice barn. Reptile house. Oh gosh, that's big. We are not going to mess with that right now. Shelter set, this one says. So this one has quite a few nice little barns. Unfortunately, none of them are like cat barns. I think maybe this big concrete box I can repurpose into a cat housing thing. Let me show you what I've got over here with the caracals. So this is the main, like, zookeeper door. And when you go in, you've got this hallway. And you've got concrete and mesh. And then there's a couple different little sections for the cats to be in. And you've got places for them to jump up high and get off the floor. And then they have, like, their food and their water and their beds in there. But that's about it. And that's pretty realistic to life. I didn't build it perfectly, but that's about what you would see if you went behind the scenes in a cat house. And it's mainly meant for containing overnight, containing during storms, you know, your indoor holding. It doesn't need to be big. It just needs to be big enough for them to be comfortable overnight. Or like it needs to be strong enough, you know, if there was an issue. You always want your holdings to be super strong to hopefully endure storms, depending on what kind of storms you might have in your area. Because if they were out here during a storm and this fence was to get like a tree fell on it, you know, we'd have some big issues. Did I upload this? I did not upload this. I built this. So I didn't download it, I built it, but I haven't uploaded it yet either. I could upload it, I suppose. I've never uploaded a blueprint onto Steam, so that would be a fun new adventure. So for our leopard den, in order to make it pretty realistic, I'm gonna kind of just like map it out with some null barriers first. So you would have your, basically your front gate. And I think that depending on how things go, you would want at least 2 spots for the animals to come in and out. So we can represent that with, we gotta turn off blueprints, doors, walls with doors. Any. There. And there. So, for representation's sake, show me just literally any... There's a door. Boop. You're gonna want one place here, and one... Stop messing me up. one place here. And that is for cats to go out. Cats will go out onto exhibit through 2 different doors. And that gives you a lot more flexibility for later. And I'll explain why. 100% should upload it. Oh, thank you. I will try. I will do my best to get that uploaded. I don't know when it'll happen, but I will try. Oh, okay. So, your human space, you're going to have like a human walkway. Because humans and animals, and cats specifically, like dangerous animals, do not share space. Ever. It's just not a thing that is possible in real life. There are some zoos that do it. There are some videos that do it. If you watch Tiger King, they do it. Please don't do it. It's not safe. Everybody has accidents. It's not. Animals are wild. Let them be that way. So, you're going to basically be like any other barn. You're going to have lots and lots of stalls. I think for our purposes, we'll just have a few. And then this stall is going to be a little smaller because we still need that human path. And so we'll probably have the door be like right here to get out. So the humans will be able to walk in through here and be able to go out on exhibit. But in real life, you would want these front stalls here. So here's 1 stall, 2 stall, 3 stall, 4 stall. Depending on how big your barn is, maybe you could have a 5th stall over here. I think we'll probably just make this building about this big. Each of these stalls are going to have a door in between, and for the purposes of the game, I'll just leave all the doors open so that all of this land is traversable for the animals. But I will like build it in such a way that it looks like you could shut all the gates and you could have like mom and cubs in the largest pen, and you could have dad over here, and you could have older brother over here, and maybe this stall is empty. And then zookeepers can go out on a habitat, and then they can come back, shut that human door, and then you have enough space here that, say dad is over here and he needs to go out on exhibit, you take big brother, you shift big brother over here, and then you lock him over there, and then you can let dad out onto exhibit. So what we'll do is we'll build a tunnel of some kind, probably one that they jump up and cross over so they can walk across the path like over your head to get to this other side. Those I think are called chutes usually. Shifting chutes or squeeze chutes depending on the purpose of the chute. I think I might have somebody knocking on my door. I'll be right back. Okay, squad, I have to go, unfortunately. Thank you so much for hanging out, Spice. But I have to go to a bachelorette party now, so I'm gonna go. Okay, bye. Have fun. I will have fun. Thanks, Hazel. Thank you. Bye.